Sam Bankman-Fried.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
What the hell is going on? It's the 21st of December 2022, and Sam Bankman-Fried has just been released on a $250 million bail bond, one of the largest in history. Home detention, surrender of his passport, and location monitoring. But he is allowed to live with his parents in Palo Alto, California. How on earth did we end up here? Today we will unveil the steep rise and the brutal fall of SBF and FTX. FTX started small and gradually grew through the ranks to become a large crypto investment platform, diffusing out of the United States to the pirate territory of the Bahamas, making a quick impact in the crypto world like a blast of a meteorite, run by a bunch of lunatics in a penthouse. The tale of FTX is one of money, crypto, and impact. On the other side, it is a horrendous story of fraud, secrets, and lies. It was an empire that started from scratch with good prospects, but ruined it all with rapid growth and a sharp fall. FTX is a shocking phenomenon and a legend we will talk about forever. To start with, let us try and understand who the man behind the many stories of FTX is. Born on the 6th day of March 1992, on the campus of Stanford University into a Jewish family, Samuel Bankman-Fried is the face behind FTX. His parents, Joseph and Barbara, were both professors at Stanford Law School. It's safe to say that he was born a geek. He was popularly known and referred to by his initials, SBF. He has an aunt, Linda Fried, who is the current dean of Columbia University Mailman School of Public Health. Family of geeks, right? He also has a brother named Gabriel, who once traded on Wall Street and served as former director of a nonprofit focused on actions guarding against pandemics. As they say, fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree. Sam was a gifted, different, and highly intelligent student. His aspiration growing up was simply to be a math scholar, but life had different plans for him. SBF attended Canada-USA Math Camp, a summer program for high school students with exceptional talents in mathematics. After attending high school at Crystal Springs Upland School in Hillsborough, California, he went to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology from 2010 to 2014. So, he graduated from MIT in 2014 with a bachelor's degree in physics and a minor in mathematics. He is, or unfortunately, he was, an American entrepreneur and investor. SBF's introduction to trading and crypto, and how he started a thriving career. While at work in the summer of 2013, Sam went on to work as an intern for the New York-based proprietary trading firm Jane Street Capital and returned as a full-time employee after graduating. He started a thriving career with Jane Capital, one of the world's largest market makers, trading more than $17 trillion worth of securities. Yes, $17 trillion. That is a lot. Jane Street. This firm trades ETFs and is a good host of financial assets such as equities, bonds, futures, options, digital assets, and currencies, making markets on more than 200 electronic exchanges and trading venues in more than 45 countries. Jane Street was also a trading ground for Sam, where he built his idea, planned, and learned how to execute his plans. Also, he took some friends he made here with him when he left. When he left, it appeared that his life took an upward turn that left many questioning how he could accumulate such an amount of wealth that he had at that time. This is a valid question. How did Sam Bankman-Fried become so rich? You should make sense of his quick rise to financial fame and investment heights. The beginning of Sam's crypto business journey. Bankman-Fried left Jane Street, but he founded Alameda Research while he was still there. Alameda is a trading firm that reeks in millions of US dollars daily with cryptocurrency trading between various international markets. Later, in April 2019, he founded the cryptocurrency exchange FTX and launched it in May of that year. Why did he start FTX, you ask? Sam wanted to trade very high-risk and complex trades, and the existing crypto exchanges wouldn't allow that. Therefore, he ran away from the scrutiny of American regulatory bodies to Nassau in the Bahamas, alongside some of his friends from Jane Street and MIT. He and his friends ran FTX from a Bahamian penthouse. For a company handling billions, that was not a good look. It has been said that these kids didn't know how a business should be run. Bankman-Fried's taste for luxury off the grid and the many expensive acquisitions that came with it. While many think Sam Bankman-Fried drove an old model Toyota Corolla and lived with 9 colleagues, the reverse was the case.
His car collection includes a 2023 BMW X7 for about $110,000, a 2023 Audi A7 for $68,900, and a Mercedes GLS worth about $98,800. It's safe to say that he lived luxuriously as they lived in the most expensive beachside estate in the Bahamas, where he moved in 2021 when Hong Kong got too strict to lead an international cryptocurrency casino. He lived in a $30 million penthouse in the palatial Albany Compound's seaside orchard residence, where he and 9 confidants ran a Bernie Madoff-like empire, enjoying a lavish life, subsequent growth, and acquisition of companies. So, as the cryptocurrency space grew into dominance due to the ravaging pandemic that forced many to stay at home, SBF and his company recorded a lot of success. Life and business were working very smoothly and easily. In 2020, FTX bought the Blockfolio exchange and platform for $150 million. Therefore, its user base grew, and Sam Bankman-Fried appeared to be on a strong foundation in the otherwise often volatile cryptocurrency market. During the serious trouble of crypto failures, Bankman-Fried gave a financial lifeline to cryptocurrency exchange BlockFi, rescuing it from a serious liquidity crisis where it filed for bankruptcy. He also purchased Voyager, a crypto lending platform that had failed at the time, and made a bid for Celsius, which was also bankrupt. In addition, FTX acquired LedgerX, which later had integration issues. Buying all these companies, especially failed and bankrupt companies, were those smart financial decisions? Were FTX and Sam ready to take on these new companies? You can drop your answers in the comments below. So at the time of his balling, when the grass was green, his net worth peaked at about $26.5 billion, the majority of which was tied up in the ownership of about half of FTX and a share of its FTT tokens. Sam grew FTX into one of the leading exchanges for buying and selling crypto derivatives. In early 2022, investors valued FTX and its U.S. operations at $40 billion. That's a lot. And it gets more interesting as the controversies begin rolling in. Sometimes you may wonder why all of these have been happening underground and no one seemed to know about them. According to reports, in this gang of kids, as they were not so fondly called, 10 were paired in hot romantic relationships with many orgies going on. And that means they were also spending a lot of money to keep up with those romantic relationships. Alameda's CEO, Caroline Ellison, whose firm played a central role in FTX's problems, was also in this mix, and she is said to have had a romantic relationship with Sam Fried. This is as shady as it gets, and as many current and former employees of Alameda and FTX who spoke to CoinDesk under anonymity said they were being harassed and getting death threats. Could it be true that FTX funds were gambled away or stolen by these kids? Well, these telling employees told CoinDesk that they believed that the CEO and his inner circle of orgy-having friends clearly stole customer funds. That's a lot to process, but it gets even worse. Wall Street Journal reported that FTX's Chief Technology Officer Gary Wang and Director of Engineering Nishad Singh and Ellison stole $10 billion of customer funds. There are a host of other allegations, including that Alameda Research amassed FTT crypto tokens ahead of announcing the decision to list them for trading. Also, that FTX used software to conceal and disguise the theft of customer funds. Pay attention to this. Gary Wang, Nishad Singh, and Sam controlled the code and were privy to the finance and cash. Could Sam Bankman-Fried have been brutally fried by his friends and romantic partner? What game could these guys be playing? It could be said that Sam is in on it because when asked, Ellison said that the $10 billion that was meant to repay loans Alameda took to make investments. I tell you, this seems straight out of a movie. The Crash of FTX, Binance, bankruptcy, and investigations. Sam Bankman-Fried was one of the richest people in crypto before his empire came crashing down in November 2022. A man called the modern JP Morgan. It all started with Binance tweeting that they would liquidate their FTT tokens in early November 2022. Immediately, FTX was bombarded with withdrawal requests, leading to a quick 72% fall in the price of FTT. CZ, the CEO of Binance, also said that it's best for cryptocurrency exchanges to desist from leveraging FTT tokens as collateral. He also wrote that he expected FTT to be highly volatile in the coming days as things develop. On the announcement date, the price of FTT dropped by a whopping 80%, causing a $2 billion drop in value. After a day of due diligence, Binance opted not to buy FTX, which was against their initial purchase plan when the company was unaware of the many mismanagement issues surrounding FTX. Zhao shared that the financial situation was too dire for a cost-effective fix. Binance clearly stated that the reported mismanagement of customer funds and ongoing investigations of FTX is the reason for the discontinuance of the deal. Then, it was the mayhem on Twitter as tweets were flying around about FTX malfunction. The app had been compromised, they said. FTX, on their official Telegram, said that they had been hacked while blockchain records showed hundreds of millions of dollars being removed and not by their owners primarily. Regulators at the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, or CFTC, announced an investigation into Alameda Research and FTX US, including allegations that the exchange misappropriated customers' investments. Bankman-Fried filed for bankruptcy for FTX, FTX's US operations, and Alameda Research. Sam, however, was said to have tried to frantically save FTX as he asked investors for a $9.4 billion rescue fund. A Forbes publication showed that Bankman-Fried had a top net worth of $26.5 billion, but it fell to roughly $16 billion and nearly zero in 1 week in November 2022. Possible celebrity involvement in the FTX drama. As FTX grew and developed, Sam received quite some notoriety, attention, and association with celebrities and other big names like Bill Clinton. Many celebrities endorsed and promoted FTX, including Tom Brady, Shaquille O'Neal, and Stephen Curry. These guys are in a very complicated situation, as there is now a lawsuit indicting them alongside the exchange for their involvement in the mismanagement of customer funds. People who seem to trust these celebrities are pissed as they made their decisions simply based on their word and influence. So Tom Brady, Shaquille O'Neal, Gisele Bündchen, Stephen Curry, and others are all included in a class action suit relating to the exchange and its famous mouthpieces of using deceptive means to entice customers to invest in the company. Other defendants include the Golden State Warriors, as the team's organization made a promo deal with FTX. Worthy of interest are the big names and groups that invested in FTX when the going was good. It is reported that FTX raised $1.9 billion from 80 investors in just 2 years. Sam sure has great skills in persuasion and negotiation. Let's provide you with a brief rundown of FTX funding rounds. It started in 2019 when Sam Bankman-Fried raised $8 million for the seed round, with the leading investor being Race Capital. In 2021, he raised $1 billion for the Series B round, with the leading investor being Sequoia Capital. In 2001, again, he raised $420.7 million for Series B1 from Ontario Teachers Pension Plan and Sequoia Capital. In 2022, SoftBank Vision Fund and Tessamec Holdings were the major investors. He raised $400 million for Series C. Sam was a legend. He left little room for negotiation in meetings with potential investors. He always clarified that FTX was his company and did not want anyone prying. No prying. Did this not sound questionable? FTX's top 5 institutional investors were Paradigm with $278 million, Temasek with $275 million, Sequoia with $210 million, SoftBank with $100 million, Ontario Teachers Pension Plan with $95 million, and Tiger Global with an investment of $32 million. They all have one thing in common. They have all written down their investments to zero. There is no ignoring the role SBF played in the political landscape. Sam Bankman-Fried, when all things were good, had a lot of things to do in American politics, and he contributed great donations. He was a major donor to Democratic Party candidates. He was the second largest individual donor to Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election, personally donating $5.2 million. He donated $40 million, mostly to Democratic candidates in the 2020 midterm elections. Perhaps this is one of the things that kept giving him confidence things would go his way, even when it appeared that his actions were forcing things to go the wrong way. What happened after the fall of FTX? Investigations. Since the fall and the noise of the crash of FTX, regulators at the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission have been investigating and seeking justice and order to the mess. However, Sam has denied all allegations against him relating to possible fraud and mismanagement of customer funds. He said this in response to the much scrutiny to which regulators and law enforcement agencies have subjected him. He told an audience at the New York Times DealBook Summit on November 30th that he screwed up. He also claimed never to have tried to commit fraud and was as shocked as the rest of the public by FTX's collapse. Are we all seeing a jail term coming? Or are there any more complications and twists to expect from this already twisted story? A valid question will be, how is he still not in jail? According to legal experts, multiple investigations are underway, and until they are completed, it is clear, they said, SBF won't be behind bars anytime soon. The case is very complex, requiring a lot of factual analysis and review of several regulations, which will take time to arrive at a logical conclusion. Though Americans lost money despite regulations and restrictions known as geofencing, 2% of FTX's customers were in the United States. The SBF and FTX Bahamian ties make the U.S. investigation more complex than it would have originally been. It is important to note that prosecutors are not as versed in large-scale cryptocurrency fraud as regular fraud cases. Appearance before Congress. Recently, Sam Bankman-Fried has said he wants to testify before Congress about what caused the collapse of the cryptocurrency exchange he founded. But first, he wants to understand the chain of events fully. He isn't sure how long that might take. This pledge he made on Twitter came after the U.S. House Financial Services Committee scheduled a date for a hearing regarding the crash of FTX and invited him to participate. He said, "Once I have learned, reviewed, and understood what happened, I have to appear before the committee and explain. I'm not sure that will happen by the 13th, but when it does, I will testify." So what's the bottom line? As for the future, it's likely to be difficult for Bankman-Fried. Considering the many losses recorded, there are several lawsuits and bankruptcy hurdles for FTX and its founder. The huge losses and allegations of fraud and cover-up of severe financial troubles could make Bankman-Fried the target of criminal charges and the punishments that go with a conviction if it comes to that. On Monday night, December 12, 2022, SBF was arrested in the Bahamas and was charged by the U.S. Department of Justice in an 8-count indictment with fraud, money laundering, and campaign finance offenses on Tuesday the 13th. Just a few days later, prior to Christmas, on December 21st, he's been released on a $250 million bail bond. What an insane story that has been so far, and we are sure there's more to come. What do you think will happen? Let us know in the comments.